Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain this the best way I can in 60 seconds. Probably gonna be making parts to this. If you come across this video, it's probably for you. Okay, so what I figured out about the human experience after speaking to my guys is that we're all in a state of purgatory. And purgatory is just a state of being being cleansed before we go back into heaven or higher existence. In this place of existence, there is no heaven or hell. This is just a state of finding a right path to align with your higher self and again regain God's trust to go back home / the higher realms. This is why darkness is so big here. They don't want you to find your higher self to go back home. They want to keep you here, so they give you all these distractions. If our human eyes could see everything right now in this world with our human eyes, we would lose our minds because the darkness is so big here. So all we would see is darkness. Part two on the human experience. We are here regaining our light. So many of us have this karma that we didn't work through or ask for forgiveness on in our past lives or from our past lives. Or we did ask for forgiveness and was still sent here like a boarding school to again reconnect with our higher selves and become better and learn from our mistakes. Example, you're home with your parents and you're a troubled child that just keep getting into trouble. So they send you to boarding school in hopes that you would get your act together. And the parents only come and get their kids when they have learned their lesson. I hope that makes sense. This is why they said Jesus died on the cross for our sin. Him and other prophets were sent here to remind people why they are here and who they really are. We lose our memories reincarnating here. If we came here with our memories from our past lives and sins from our past lives, we wouldn't focus so much on this current now or this life. To be in full focus to reconnect with your higher self. Part three of the human experience. A lot of souls will go lifetimes without repent and learning and will dig themselves into a deeper hole, falling more from their higher self and God. So they call that a generational curse. I hope that makes sense. So some of us as star seeds will come here and reincarnate into some families to help wake those families up so they can stop the reincarnation cycle. And that's why that's like breaking the generational curse, right? The trials we go through here serve a higher purpose. Even though it sucks, it really helps you. It pushes you back to your higher self, to think, to change your life. Here they promote death as a bad thing. Death should be celebrated. You get to go home after working so hard here and becoming your higher self. When you are born here, that should be more. Why giving birth is so traumatic. The souls that come here are given vessels so they can come here and work on themselves to go back home. Death should be celebrated. Part 4, the human experience. The human race is just a test to start back at square one and cleanse ourselves. Religion will confuse you and just separate you and steer you from connecting to your higher self. When King James wrote the Bible, it was just meant to help people reconnect to their higher self and go home. But over time, from this darkness being here for so long, it was manipulated. So now we have to go back within ourselves like our ancestors did and reconnect that way. Free will was given so you can make the choice to tell if you were ready to go home or not. Your intuition guides you away from darkness to keep you on a path of finding out why you are here, asking for forgiveness and living the best way you can. This matrix was created to help souls who was not condemned, but given a chance to reconnect to their higher self. It's up to us to break out of that loop. God gave us the tools to get out of here. Part 5, the human experience. This place that we think is living is actually a state of death. When we die here doing things that we should have been doing, we go and reincarnate in a higher realm. That's actually the living. We go and live our true lives. Mother Nature is the teacher and the animals are the guides. This life is a true life saver. I hope that makes sense. So this is like a simulation / game, right? An immortal soul, which we are, can reincarnate many times to beat the boss of life. Do you want to run through this life like a game, like Call of Duty? When you die, you keep respawning, but you respawn with all the things you started with, right? And people only take games serious when you only have one life. And in that one life, if you die in the game and you're far into the game, you start over at level 1. You start over at level 1 with no memory, nothing that you got later in that game. Take this one life that you are currently to avoid an unfulfilled death. Beat this game.
And then when you get out into this famous world comes the struggle for success in profession or business. And again there seems to be a ladder before you, something for which you're reaching all the time. And then suddenly, when you're about 40 or 45 years old in the middle of life, you wake up one day and say, I've arrived. I feel pretty much the same as I've always felt. In fact, I'm not so sure that I don't feel a little bit cheated. You can't live at all unless you can live fully now.